This is training, supervision of child abuse cases, child abuse and neglect. Benton County is the only county in Oregon that serves 100% of each child that comes into care, becomes a ward of the court. And what the $12,000 will cover is the training for 65 advocates. One is assigned per case. There could be siblings as part of a case, but that's very different from the county perspective, from various other counties and various in the state of Oregon. So the $12,000 covers an annual conference, 4 quarterly trainings, and the trainings are pretty comprehensive. They're on mental health issues, they're on the judicial system, they're on court protocol, they're on special needs, cultural responsiveness. So the advocate is assigned to each child and makes sure that every case is monitored, evaluated, and investigated, because what our purpose is that we create reports for the judges so that then they have the information they need to make a decision on the permanency of each child. CASA is not just nice people doing nice things. We're evidence-based. We're unduplicated in Benton County, and we're also very unique to each child. CASA is actually matched up with the child so that it's the best fit possible. The CASA stays with that child for 2 years, so the training at $12,000 is quite cost savings. And what we do is we work with the child welfare program, which is overtaxed. One caseworker may have 12 cases, our CASAs have 1. What research indicates is that a child is less likely to be abused again, that a child's parents are more likely to get more services throughout the case of that court proceeding, and also that if it's an aggressive child abuse case, that child is more likely to be adopted in a short period of time. Our goal is expeditious permanency. Any questions?
How do you interface with the ABC House in Old Mill, where they're also dealing with sex abuse issues?
CASAs are legal parties to a case, a dependency case. So we gather, we investigate, and we literally get everything that attorneys get, so we get the discovery. So ABC reports are there, the CASAs are trained to understand what that means, what it signifies for the child, what services are needed. But if the child's best interest to become reunified with the parents, how are the parents following the court orders that may have to do with sexual abuse, a lack of protection, neglect, or abuse within that household?
So you're specifically the advocate for the child.
Absolutely. We speak and represent the best interest of the child in a court report to the judge at every court hearing.
So each CASA only has one child or one case.
Correct.
And they follow the same child for 2 years. Are they paid or volunteers?
They're all volunteers. So we really, 62 very well trained volunteers, and I have a staff of 1. That's exceptional for the state of Oregon.
I know that in Multnomah County, for example, they appoint lawyers to represent children in dependency cases. Does Benton County do that, or is the CASA the only person advocating for the child?
Benton County is actually very progressive in that area. Every child is assigned an attorney. The CASA is
Multnomah County?
in Benton County.
Oh, in Benton County, in dependency cases?
Yes.
Oh.
And actually attorneys that are assigned to children in dependency cases are asked to be part of that system. In other counties, you're assigned, but in Benton County, they say, I want to be part of the judicial system and the dependency court system, because that's their interest. So really, there's a lot to brag about in Benton County regarding children in dependency cases.
So how does what a CASA does for a child differ from what their attorney might do for them?
It's independent. It's a program created by a judge, understanding the dynamics that happen in court. We're standing there with the attorneys, but it's independent. It's the community member like yourself saying, well, I noticed that Maria is not doing so well in school. I'm going to go interview the teacher. I'm going to interview the mental health therapist to understand how things are going. I'm going to be able to have a copy of the psychological evaluation of parents. I have the court orders to know what kind of services the parents need to follow. And methamphetamine is what most of the cases are the issue in most cases. So substance abuse treatment. We're literally about 15 to 20 hours per month for each child, where a caseworker will have 12 cases, CASA has 1. So we make recommendation to the judge, Your Honor, in this case, the parents would benefit from Maria. It would be in her best interest to return to the parent, or the parents are not engaged, it would be in Maria's best interest to stay with an aunt. We have to know DHS child welfare policy very well. We have to know federal law and state law. And we have to have a good relationship with the judges in child welfare, and Benton County has a very good relationship with both.
You articulated a few different areas where the funding would go. What is, I mean, it's different, I think, in a lot of different programs that have come up, but what would go if you weren't fully funded? You talked about a conference, you talked about the training, I mean, what gets sacrificed?
What would get sacrificed is that not every child would be served, because we couldn't afford to continue to train 60-some volunteers.
So the training would be the first thing
The
that would be
training
done?
would be the first thing, which would affect the amount of cases we could cover. We are the model within the state of how much we could do with the budget we have and the limited staff we have. I actually gave a layoff notice to our program manager, and we still are able to manage to meet those goals of 100%. We're the only county that does at about 100 children a year.
Could you talk a little bit about what the conferences that you mentioned?
The conference has to do, I'll give you an example of last year's. We invite community members and professionals, collaborators. Last year we addressed human trafficking. We addressed mental health issues in teens, conflict resolution, and then we had a panel of teens who have aged out of the foster care system saying to us as professionals, this is what we need, this is our perspective versus you saying what we need. That was the most insightful, I think, of all. And so they've asked for the conference to address those issues against this year, which will be October 22nd.
Maria, how do you feel that the court values your advocacy?
Highly. I have a very good relationship with the judges. I meet with them quarterly, and I'm about to publish a newsletter which all judges sign, the importance of the value of CASA and the encouragement of the county community members to continue to support us in these budgetary cuts.
Do you have a percentage of children that go back into the home and the children that don't?
There's always two plans. To return to parent, because that's always a primary goal. And then there's a B plan. I would say that there's probably 65, 70% return to their parents. It's just a matter of them following the court orders. If it's substance abuse, if it's battery intervention program, if it's a house that's too filthy to live in, what are the issues with the parents? The primary role is expeditious permanency for that child. And we know that primarily the best place for them to be is with their parent. So we're monitoring the case and make that recommendation to the judge. And the court hearings are open to the public. I would encourage you to sit and watch a permanency hearing at some point. It's fascinating.
Still have time for another quick question?
Excellent.
Okay, if there's not,